Do you struggle with your kid as a parent? Are you in school with your kid and you are like, why am I having so much trouble? And you are failing to realize that your kid is about to be the next Einstein, the next Bill Gates. Your kid is literally about to be the next world changer. And you want him to be in class being regular, following the regular system when he is set apart. Hey, well, in this channel, in this topic today, we are going to talk about how I realized that my kid has ADHD and how I am learning to work with my kid in that. So stay tuned. So yeah, I want to talk to you guys about this because this is something that really is dear to my heart. It's something that I just recently realized, and I actually had moments of tearing up, to be honest. Let me just keep it a buck with you, okay? There was times where I was really actually in tears because I come from an African culture, and in Africa, there is no mental illness, there is no disability, except when you are literally limping. Then they're like, okay, that one has a disability. But you're not going to be over here, someone's eating some soup, some native food, and then you come and spill their food and you're like, oh, I'm schizophrenic. Oh no, don't worry, we can both be schizophrenic, my friend. After I beat your ass, we will both be schizophrenic. Yeah, it's like that. We don't recognize those type of things at all. So, when the kid is acting up, it's just whoop them. That's just what it comes down to. Okay, you're just being disobedient, you will be beaten. End of story. There is no, oh, the kid maybe not understanding something. Maybe the kid has a different way of learning. So, I kind of, even though, I was born, and raised in America, I have grown up, with a lot of African traits. And that's one of them that's, what is mental illness? What is that? Everything can be fixed. So when I was speaking to, my mentor and my therapist about it, and they're like, you know what, some of the things that you're complaining about may be that he has ADHD. I was just like, oh, how dare you? Oh, my kid. No, he doesn't have anything. So, it's just a lot, y'all. It was a lot to have to take in, because when you hear that, a lot of times you think like disability, my kid's going to be shunned out, my kid has a problem, my kid is abnormal. And that is really not it, actually. It's important to actually own up to the things that you are going through, because it's going to make your life and your kid's life easier, and it's going to also help you to take care of your kid better. At the end of the day, we all love our kids, we want the best for our kids. So not acknowledging a learning style or a way that your child best thrives, or the environment that your kid best thrives in, is only going to hurt you and make your life harder, as well as your kid. So I had to come to that realization as I was going through this whole process of ADHD, and I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of things that really got me through this journey and just life. So yeah, when me and his father put him in school, especially in Africa, his dad will spank him a lot, and I also would spank him a lot here and there for the teacher telling me, oh, he's not listening, or he's playing around, he keeps talking to people after I told him to stop talking to people, and pretty much kind of be like the class clown in a way. And me and his father would be like, okay, so you want to be class clown? Okay, let's clown around. Let me beat your ass and class clown in this room so you can understand. Stop being a class clown in class. Okay, this is not what it is. Class, school, if we're learning, get yourself together or you will be beaten. And we didn't really understand that it's not really that he wants to be a class clown or he wants to not pay attention in class. It's the fact that he has a different learning style than the kids in the class. He doesn't learn from just someone standing in front of the class and just talking the whole time. He needs action. He needs, pictures. He needs stimulation. He needs colors. He needs different things to help him to grasp the information. And when I was in nursing school, I also was the type of person where I really do thrive best visually. Like if I had colors, if I had mnemonics to help me understand things, I would be able to get it better. But if they would just write it on the piece of paper, like they literally will give me a worksheet that has like a cheat sheet of everything that the test is going to be on. But I had to redo it on my own in a notebook with highlighters, colors, light up things that were important, red, yellow, that weren't I had to make it all colorful, and I would ace the test, but I had to do that in order for me to thrive. But if they just gave me that paper by itself, I would memorize it, but then at the end of that week, I would not even remember it because it didn't store in my long-term memory. And, I have always been the type of person that I have always thought about wanting to homeschool my kids. Like, I just love the idea of being in a setting, or even if it's not homeschooling, being in a type of school to where they would be really attentive to the kids. They would really be not worried about the numbers of kids there, but really make sure there's appropriate number of kids in the class to the teacher, that they would have different learning styles or ways of teaching the kid. And it's not just everybody stand here, like public schools. I really didn't like that idea. And I also like the idea that it was more controlled. The narratives of what we're trying to teach our kid was all we were all on one agenda. It wasn't different people's mindsets, thought, likes and dislikes, gender preferences. It was more controlled. So, as I have been taking care of my kid, and I realized that, I'm just not the type of person to be a homeschool mom. Maybe in the future we could get there, but I'm just not at this place where my kids will be at home. I will have boards on the wall, and I was just, that's a lot. All day with the kid, a whole day, all day, 24/7, 7 days a week. Nah. So I had to look at I really didn't like the school system already the way it was. So when my son wasn't doing well in the system, I was just or not so well in the system. That's when I was just that's why I don't want him to be in this program. This is why I don't want him to be in public school, because this is ridiculous. And so he was in private school for about 2-3 years out of schooling so far. He's in 5th, 4th grade. He was in private school pretty much all of school up to this point. And so now he's in a charter school. So that just made me to just kind of feel defeated as a mom sometimes when I would get, responses back from the teacher saying, oh, he's not listening. He does great 2 days, 3 days out of the week. I barely have to talk to him about anything. And then, Friday, I have to talk to him, and maybe he even gets recess taken away because he was playing around so much. And Friday, maybe he does the same thing. So he has a hit or miss throughout the week. But, I really, instead of just looking at, okay, what could be the problem, I totally shunned out the idea of any type of learning issue, any type of learning disability or learning style that's different from that normal way of learning. I totally shunned myself out of that. And as parents, we really need to not just be so one-sided on how we raise our kids. Kids have every kid is different. Your kid may be the next Einstein. Your kid may be the next millionaire, billionaire of this world. And we cannot put our kid in a box, in a one-sided box, and say, oh, you have to learn this way. If you don't want to learn this way, that means you're disobedient and you're not going to learn it. You obviously want to be failure in school. No, we have to look at different ways that our kids are learning. Us popping out kids, us having kids is not just to have them and we put clothes on their back and we feed them and say, our job is done. That's it. Don't ask for nothing else. No, it requires work. And each person has their own gift. And we also need to be mindful of nurturing that gift so they can really be who they're supposed to be. That's what makes this world so unique, is that everybody has different things about them that makes them to stand out, that makes them to be who they are, that makes them to be as great as they will be in this world and be a world changer. But if we put them in a box and we don't even expand our mind as parents to say, okay, my kid needs a little bit more tutoring. The school's not able to give that to them. What do I need to do? I need to hire somebody. I need to maybe work an extra shift that I really don't want to work, but it's going to help my kid to be where he needs to be. So those are things that I literally had to do on my own, is that I had to also sometimes work extra shifts and literally just to hire a tutor. And I am very grateful that I did that, because I have seen him grow so much because of that. I have seen him thrive in school, pass grades, and really understand the information because I put in that extra work. And that's what it really comes down to, is actually putting in that work and not being so careless as a parent to be like, I do enough. That's all. I'm not doing any more, to where our kid, because a lot of times they pass kids and they really weren't supposed to pass. They're just passing because they can't be holding back every single person who they should actually hold back. Then let's go with that. So we actually got to put in the work ourselves to help our kids to excel. So that was something that, I had to realize. And also, when I looked at ADHD, it said that a kid can be ADHD and be smart, follow instructions, safety rules well, stay at home responsibly, use appliances correctly, listen when corrected, improve with maturity and practice. It's not about that. And that was something that I was just like, because my son does all of these things. He is really good. He follows instructions to a certain degree pretty well. Safety rules well, definitely. Stays at home responsibly, definitely. Use appliances well. All these things he does well. So that's why my head was just like, how can he be ADHD? Like, what is this? Like, I had the mindset that if you're ADHD, that you will be like confused, jumping off the walls, just, all over the place. And it's not about that. It's about how much effort it takes you to do these things with your kid, to get them to follow rules, to get them to, follow instructions, to get them to follow safety rules, how much work it takes you. And then when I read that part, I was just like, okay, but I tell you, girl, gotta work hard sometimes just to get things across. And that'd be the part that I'm just like, Lord, I know you want me to graduate with a doctorate degree in patience by the time I'm done raising this boy. I know it is, because y'all should be trying me sometimes. And I actually hate repeating myself many times. I do. So this is the problem. I just be ready to whip ass when I have to repeat more than 2 or 3 times. Like, I'm really quite over it. So it just helped me to realize that it's not about him being able to do all those things. It's about how much work it takes to do it. And that made a lot of sense to me. And it made me to actually have more patience with my kid, because he is learning things just fine. The problem with ADHD is that they struggle to do more boring tasks. They struggle to do things with long, tedious instructions. They sometimes struggle to transition from one task to the other task without messing around. And those are the things that I do struggle with him. Like, it's perfect. Exactly. So I was just like, wow, like, it just made me to really be patient, to be honest, as a parent, and made me to realize that everybody is not the same. Everybody is not the same. And you cannot be lazy to not raise your kid and put in the work. Because as I am a nurse, when I go to nursing homes and things, I see what happens when you don't care about your kids. Nobody cares about you when you're old. You are going to be there in that nursing home with wounds on your butt. Nobody to care for them. Nobody to come in and say, why is there a wound on my mom or dad's butt? Why is this happening? And nobody to speak up for you, because you didn't care. And you can see it, because the kid, they're like, oh yeah, how many kids? I have 8 kids. Well, none of them come to visit you. None of them. Valentine's Day, where are you going? I'll be here. Other people, oh, my daughter's coming to pick me up. Oh, my son's coming to pick me up. Oh, we're going here. Juliet's going to be out for the whole week. Her family's taking them out. Like, people are leaving and going out with their family and coming back to this apartment setting, like dorms, where there's all elderly people, and they're having a blast. When it's time to have fun events, when it's time for holidays, they leave with their loved ones. Random times throughout the week, family just comes, drop by, bring flowers, bring food, takes them out to go eat, brings the grandbabies by. How we take care of our kids really does matter in the end, because you don't want to be unable to do things yourself, and you don't have nobody that loves you that wants to put in that same work that you put in for them to make sure they got a good education, to make sure they actually understood the topics that they're learning in school, so that they don't have to work at McDonald's. A lot of times we don't put in enough work to take care of our kids, and then when it's time for us to need help, we're like, can't you help me with my rent? Can I live with you? No, mom, dad, no, I'm just barely surviving. You barely helped me to finish school. I'm barely working at McDonald's. I'm barely working. I'm barely surviving. So it really comes down to now, how much effort you put into your kid. They're your seed. They represent you. If there's not anybody else that matters, it's your kid. So it really had to show, this really showed me that I need to be patient with him. And it also helped me to actually look into ADHD and different things that I can do to help him to grasp things better, say things short and concise. Don't say long, tedious, instructions. Tina, stop nagging. it also helped me to have to fix my own self, because it's not just one-sided. Parenting is also you looking at your bad habits because your kids are mimicking you. They are basically copying you, a mini copy of you. So if you cuss like a sailor, don't be angry when all the kids are cussing. They learned it from you. So it really made me to just be like, I gotta be patient. I gotta not nag so much and draw things out. When there's a problem, I need to be direct. And this goes for even men and just people in general. When you see that there's a problem, be able to look at yourself and say, how can I change my ways to help better the situation? How can I improve on myself, rather than just looking for how you can put the blame game? When I realized that my son, even at this time, I even want to say May. I tell you, sometimes it's hard to just have ADHD, because, I am putting in the work to make sure that he's successful in school by having a tutor, having a nanny sometimes, so that I could be able to go out and, relieve my stress and feel better and not be so angry, feeling frustrated, feeling so tight and feeling so I don't have any time for myself. I put these things in place and I try to work hard for these things, because it also helped me to be a better parent to my kid. If I'm sitting here every day nagging, he's jumping all over the place, I don't have time to go and de-stress and be able to come back and say, okay, you have energy, let's go play basketball together. You're in basketball, let's use that energy and let's go play basketball. Oh, you have energy? Okay, go clean your room. You should play music while you're cleaning your room on Spotify. I find now clever ways and strategic ways to say, okay, you know what? Now let me work around this high energy that he had. Okay, sometimes he's distracted with many tasks. Okay, please, can you turn off the TV while we're doing our chores right now? Because you're stopping every second to look up. I need you to turn it off right now so that we can pause it. Actually, okay. Sometimes he'll get upset when I say turn off. Well, I can do it. And then next minute, I said I'm like, okay, you know what? Pause the damn thing, because pause it. So, I had to work with him and say, okay, you know what? A lot of stimulation is going to distract him. Please pause one thing and get this task in, and then you could push play. He'll get the task done fast and then push play. So it just helped me to realize that, whatever, you got to look at how your kid is acting. And if there's certain things that you keep having to go over with him, to keep being a problem with him, really look into if there is actually an issue going on, if there is a disability there, if there is a learning style that's different from everybody else, that your kid needs to be in a certain environment, a different environment sometimes it may take, in order for your kid to grow and to be who they are supposed to be. So you guys, it's just me expressing myself and being vulnerable, talking about how I realized that, he had ADHD and how I am working with it and we are thriving in the midst of it. And that it doesn't mean that my kid is, disabled or has a sickness or anything. It just means that when you are teaching him, it takes a little bit more colors. It takes a little bit more energy to get his attention, and there's nothing wrong with that. That just means that I have to find a different type of learning style for my kid that requires a different type of learning style, just like I had. And so I just want you to know to love your kid and to put in the work to invest in your kid. It's not just when they get 18 years old, we're done with them, that's it, go on with your reason. We need to teach our kids how to be respectable and how to really thrive in life. It's not good for us to let our kids out to this world and they are barely making ends meet. They are living check to check. This is where drugs and all these type of other things end up coming into their life because they're too stressed. They're like, I can't pay bills. This job is not enough. I work so many hours. I'm just exhausted. We have to put in the work so that our kids can actually have a good living, so that they can actually have time off, 3-4 days off, maybe even just be entrepreneurs and have a clear mind to live life and not be stressed. Okay, we know how it feels to not be able to make ends meet, and it's not good to give birth to kids and not give them a proper clean slate to live life on, but we give them a slate of struggle to start off of, and then we're wondering why they can't help us, why they can't be there for us when we're at old age. It's because we never gave them a proper foundation. So just wanted to give you guys a nugget. It's your girl Evolving Guys here, giving you another food for thought. If you like the topics that I'm talking about, please consider subscribing. That would be greatly appreciated. And join the fam bam. Definitely have more videos coming out of just different topics that, your girl's very versatile. So just different topics, and I hope you stay blessed. I hope you work with your kid, with whatever it is that your kid is going through, and that you find ways to help your kid thrive. Alrighty, y'all.